Life is beautiful, but it isn't the universe's crowning achievement. There is something far more spectacular in the world than the birth of a baby. It's the arrival of a new soul. A soul or consciousness doesn't emerge from an evolved brain. God creates it. As a baby is born from a physical mother, a mind emanates from a spiritual God. Many people believe that consciousness emanates from a big brain. They think that someday even computers will be self-aware, but that isn't the case. A mind isn't something that a human will ever create, nor will it spontaneously emerge in a robot. Scientists won't put your mind in an electronic circuit either. Your mind, you, is much more than anything physical. 14 billion years ago, God put the energy of the universe into motion. The waves of energy moved in every direction at the speed of light. The crests and troughs of various wavelengths and amplitudes pummeled each other. The individual smooth waves blended into a chaotic mess, at least to the ignorant eye. God knew that some energy peaks would grow so high that they would coalesce into stable bundles. Those energy bundles were so concentrated that today scientists refer to them not as energy, but as particles. That is the easiest way we can understand and work with them. The particles further assembled into atoms, then atoms aggregated into larger bodies called molecules. Almost all concentrated energy exists as molecules. There are relatively few individual atoms buzzing around. Molecules subsequently self-assembled into air, oceans, mountains, and stars. Starting with noisy, chaotic energy waves, you never could have predicted the beauty of the universe as we see it today. Everything was exactly the way God planned it. He looked at it and said it was good. Every molecule of the universe was exactly where God had planned. But the aggregation process was not over. From the very beginning, He had something else up His sleeve. Some molecules would eventually coalesce into complex structures that would replicate themselves. This was the birth of life. It was a quality that seems magical, and scientists have spent many years trying to explain how it happened. The universe is nothing more than energy moving around as waves in concentrated energy bundles. It was all orchestrated from the Big Bang. However, even life was not His endgame. All along, the plan was to create something else that couldn't be predicted, and that was the creation of another person. God made another conscious being like Himself. There are two accounts of creation in the Bible. The first account is about the initial surge of energy waves, which formed molecules which eventually formed the Earth, planets, and stars. It also includes the aggregation of molecules into complex structures that make up life. One of those living creatures was Homo sapiens, the most sophisticated form of life. You find the first creation story in the first chapter and the first verse of Genesis. In the beginning, God. It describes how something came from nothing and the evolution of self-perpetuating molecules. It recounts the appearance of plants and animals and eventually man. The story to this point was about the physical world only. The second creation story is about the spiritual world. God took two existing Homo sapiens and attached a soul to each of them. Their self-awareness was not born, evolved, or emerged into existence. It was a hands-on, God-executed event. He created them in His image. Here, image means the attribute of personhood. He made two you-like beings and attached them to bodies in the physical world. The universe at that point was composed of energy waves, energy bundles, and two spiritual beings, each attached to bordered congregations of waves and bundles. Compared to the whole of the universe, the two occupied a tiny space, but their impact on the physical world was profound. The minds of Adam and Eve initially rode the momentum of the waves and bundles of their physical bodies. They enjoyed the garden, each other, and interacting with God. Neither of them put thought into anything other. They were like athletes performing in the zone. Their consciousness enjoyed going with the flow and living in the moment. The molecules of their bodies obeyed the motion and collision dynamics of classical physics, and God's will controlled the when and where of photon movements. However, upon the exertion of their will, which God allowed, they caused different photon movements to occur. This changed the future of the molecular collisions of their bodies that resulted in their mouths taking bites of the apple. But it was way more consequential than that. They forever changed the future of the universe. Their me-first action polluted the otherwise perfect future of molecular motions and collisions. The minds of Adam and Eve resulted in an act that altered the trajectory of God's universe. Like the butterfly effect, the ripples contaminated the rest of history. Adam and Eve would now ride an aberrant molecular momentum. The experience of living in God's perfectly designed moment was polluted by their me-first decision. That would be bad enough, but they weren't finished. Only moments later, they lied to God about the situation. That was another deviation from the perfect plan. Adam and Eve are the only Homo sapiens that the Bible says were imbued with a consciousness by God. Although their physical bodies made physical children, the scriptures never say that God attached a spirit to the children. Nor does the Bible say that Homo sapiens' offspring automatically get a consciousness. The only thing you're sure of is that you are conscious, and because of the very nature of Jesus being God, that he too is self-aware. You might guess that Noah, Abraham, Moses, Enoch, and others that walked or talked with God also had a spirit. But your Uncle Adolf and Cousin Kevin, you can't be 100% sure. Keep thinking, and I look forward to your feedback. Please leave your comments and questions below, or contact me at my email address. Until the next video, remember humility, thanks, and joy.